Hey guys, I'm out here with the Arsenal Firearms Strike 1 9mm. Range 6 has brought this gun out, so they're the ones kind of letting us demo it today, and I'm going to let them talk about it and show you all the details of this gun very shortly. But first, let's just put a few rounds down range, see how it feels. That feels great. It's really nice.
James Story with Range 6 and
Josh Burgess with Range 6.
we are not only a training company, but we are a full-service gun shop. We hold a FFL, and we're an exclusive importer for Arsenal Firearms for the state of Utah. And this is the AF 2011, and this is a Strike 1. And a little bit about the company Arsenal Firearms. Nicola was a 40-year, 35-year firearm designer, and his partner, they joined forces 4 years ago. Dimitri, gun enthusiast who owns and is into his passion, which is miniature firearms. So essentially, they came together with core competencies in miniaturizing guns, half scale, and making half scale ammo. You could find them in 1911s, little Strike 1s, little Gatling guns, M40, G42s, AK-47s, and on down the line. So I believe when these gentlemen got together, they said, hey, we have all these blueprinting and all of these, processes on miniaturizing guns. What could we do if we wanted to create a full-size duty pistol? And that was the invention of the Strike 1.
That trigger's light.
It's light.
I do a little staging of that trigger on my way up. I started to stage it, it just went off.
Can't do it on that one.
And I am riding that slide catch. I tend to do that. That's why it's not locking back. So the distance we're at is almost 15 yards right now. This time I'm going to try doing some slow presses for accuracy. What are you seeing?
You're high on a couple shots, but all four, there's 4 out of the 6 I think you shot.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
That's a great group, actually, 15 yards.
We'll go to the lower dot right below that, the middle on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And just try that with 5 rounds.
Sounds good. Dude, that's a dang good group. You're high.
Okay.
You're on the top dot, but that's like...
Your breathing pattern's perfect.
Dude, that's a beautiful group for 15 yards, man. That's a good group for 7 yards. For half the distance.
Nice. Should we move into 5 and try to make a 1 hole?
Let's do it.
All right. You guys say this is about 5?
That should be about right. I would say going lower dot.
Yeah, bottom dot, bottom on the right.
gosh. Hold on, I'm walking up. Dude, okay, so this is a group right here at 15 yards. And this one right here, you sailed 2 up over the top.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at my fingertip.
5 yards.
Holy crap.
They're all touching.
Dude, that's
Basically
amazing.
One hole, 5 yards.
Yeah.
You know, I've done stuff like that before with my Glock, from 3 to 5
Yeah, but
yards.
you've never shot this gun before,
That's
though.
absolutely true. This gun, this trigger lends itself really well to this type of shooting.
Yeah.
If you want to try to be accurate, take your time with your shot, get a good surprise break, that's what you can get with this trigger for sure.
All right, so we have a full beveled magazine well. First one on a duty gun to come standard, all right? So getting these mags in, I'm gonna pop one out on my side right here. Getting these mags in is just so darn easy, and they are metal mags. And now, moving up from this beveled mag well, we have an ambidextrous, and this is fully steel, that's not polymer. That is steel, and it's contacting all steel inside. Okay, so when you hit that button, there's no mushiness, no kind of weird feel like that. It's just gonna pop right out. And I run mine personally, this is my personal gun, but I run the ambidextrous on both sides, and I do my mag changes with this index finger right here. It works just like your type of polymer trigger that has the extra safety teat inside, right? The idea is the same. You can't pull the trigger right now. There's a patent on this trigger. It's a steel trigger. This isn't a polymer trigger, and it has grooves on it so you can have your muscle memory, making sure you get back on the right place in it. But if you put your finger where it's supposed to be, just like a Smith & Wesson or Glock trigger, it's gonna rock it into place, where now it's gonna be activated. And then you'll be able to, so the same exact concept, just done a different way, and that way they're putting a steel trigger in there. So when we have all this energy coming straight backwards, second of all, we don't have this barrel moving at hundreds of feet per second, bouncing upward. And the reason why a lot of guns have to do that is because they want to make sure you have sure feeding of the next cartridge. The barrel's going to tilt. Feeding ramp's going to move down, cartridge is going to go in. This one here with this, the magazine going up so high, and then the barrel, the bore coming down so low, the cartridges are right behind the chamber. So all they have to do is move straight in. So there's no need for a barrel tilt, which means you could put a 12-inch barrel. In the future, there's going to be a 16-inch barrel for this gun. Handgun hunters out there, people that are into just long-range shooting with pistol for whatever reasons, they're going to love that type of thing. And then this goes into a conversion kit with a longer barrel, and maybe you're getting a few hundred feet per second more out of that 357 SIG this fall into the shoulder with an optic on it. I think you can really have a lot of fun with this gun and stretch it, stretch its legs a little bit. So let's break it down. Pull the trigger. We have a retaining pin right here. That doesn't come out, so you're not going to lose that. Hold this for me, Josh. First thing you're going to notice is we don't have 2 little rails here and 2 little rails there. That is one entire machine piece of steel. A very hard steel, a very dense steel, and a very, say, lubricous, if that's even a word, type of steel. So good for your slide to go forward and backwards. I'm gonna look that word up later on.
High lubricity.
Yeah, high lubricity, there we go. And now you're gonna notice, see, this is where, when we get the trigger job done on these guns, or if you do feel any grit, which there is minimal on the standard gun that comes out right out of the box, you'll see that it's moving this block out of the way and allowing the striker to go forward. There. So instead of the trigger housing going up, it goes backwards. So is the reset longer right now without type of, any aftermarket parts for it or aftermarket triggers? Yeah, the reset is longer now, but they made a gamble. They said, we're gonna lower the bore axis, move the trigger housing backwards, and we're still gonna get people on the follow-up shots faster. So that's the thinking behind it.
Okay, so let's demonstrate that trigger for you. There's a little bit of take up, as you can see there, and then a solid press, slight travel, and then a little tiny bit of over travel as well. Show that to you one more time. Reset comes all the way out to there, all right? And then you gotta let it go a little more, and then bring it in, slight travel, and there's your over travel.
I think it hinges higher than a Glock and like the M&P and stuff like that, So it's a different feel.
Yep. And there's your reset from there. Slide over travel. So you can see that. These are the characteristics of the trigger. These are things you want to know. But I gotta say, as far as the usefulness of it and how good it feels to shoot, it's fantastic. Now this gun has had a trigger job, that's worth mentioning. It's got a slightly lighter spring in it and also a little polish job. This is stuff that probably any of you guys could do to your gun. Get a hold of that spring, do the polish job yourself if you really wanted to, or take it to somebody who's a professional who can do that. But I would say that probably out of the box, it's slightly grittier, is it not? Mm-hmm. It's going to be slightly gritty out of the box, but that will break in after a few hundred rounds or lots and lots of dry fire. The recoil impulse of it, the way it feels traveling backwards, man, it hardly feels like it rises at all.
No.
And bringing it back on target, getting those sights back, was really easy.
There's very little flip, dude.
Yeah.
Very little amplitude.
Yep. Overall, this gun feels fantastic to shoot.
Yep. It's really easy to cycle too. Have you noticed that? Run the slide. See how because on a Browning firearm, you have to overcome that lock. You have to unlock it, and it doesn't have that same thing.
That's
here.
a very good point. Yeah, there is that lock you have to overcome before it will break and start to open up. And if I hand a Glock or something like that to my wife and tell her to rack it, she's going to be like, "Oh, come on, again?"
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't enjoy it. Whereas with this, getting that started is really easy, and sliding it all the way back.
Well, and it allows you to gain momentum when you get it started too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's real easy.
Nice.
You can see that your rail is all the way down here, but your trigger comes all the way up to there, also adding to the low bore axis.
Holy cow, that's
axis
true,
of it.
huh?
Yep.
You throw a light on this thing, man, and you would have even better recoil.
Oh, for sure. You got a little bit of weight out there, mitigating that flip.
Yep.
Very good looking. The price on it is, it's more than you're going to spend.
That one's what, $900?
$9.99.
$9.99. So we're looking at $1,000.
Grand
With
for
the
this?
trigger, a couple $100 more.
Yeah. So this one as tested's $12.
Okay.
Yep.
As it is, about $1,200.
Yep.
The base model.
$8.99, $8.49.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. By the time this video goes live, you'll be able to go to range6.com, take a look at this gun, and order it.
Yeah, actually, right now they can take a look at it online and call us and order it right now. No problem. We got them in stock.
Excellent. Nice. Let's get a few more rounds through this gun because it is a lot of fun to shoot. Remember that reset.
Yep. Same thing.
I'm not bringing that trigger far enough forward. I think we're starting to open up towards the end there. With a lot more practice, I think I could easily bring those groups in pretty nice and tight, paper plate size per pair, and probably have those splits really, really good. But first day out with this gun, I'm opening it up. I'm still getting used to this thing, but I tell you, this thing has got a heck of a lot of potential.
Oh.
What did we have there?
Try that again.
Yeah.
Wait. Look at that round.
Oh, no. So that did not
Could've just been
insert
seated wrong,
properly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get in front of you. Let's just double check that the shape is clear.
Is that last
Got
round?
A little
Yep.
stovepipe happening there.
All right, so you have a captured recoil spring and a guide rod. And this is where the kind of like the, proof is in the pudding. This is where the magic kind of happens. So when this gun goes off, like we said, there is no 3-4 millimeters of a tilt of a barrel. What does happen is this moves. This little locking block moves 3-4 millimeters, and you'll see, I'm gonna pull it out, there's rails on it. On the inside of this slide, there are rails on the inside of the slide that are cut. So when this moves up into position, there's only one way to put this back in, so I guessed the wrong way. There we go. So they're gonna move into slides, and now this thing is just like on a little mining cart, okay? It's in rails. What does that create? Extreme consistency of barrel movement forward to backwards. So you can imagine a barrel moving 100 feet per second, 200 feet per second. And then if it's wobbling a little bit left or right, that's gonna throw grams of energy off this direction, that direction. So we have energy going straight forwards and backwards. And when it goes back into the locking position, you're gonna see it drop. Once it drops into this place now, super tight tolerances are locking this barrel into place. So we haven't tested it. I don't claim this, but I have heard from people in the company and at SHOT Show that guys that are putting this into the conversion kit with an optic on are shooting 2 MOA at 100 yards. Hey, I want to see it, so we're going to do that video next, and if we do 3, I'll be happy. So for competition shooters that want a consistent feel for every shot, right, in that low bar axis, this is a pretty awesome gun to take a look at, you know, and see if you can get used to it. We know 2 weeks ago we saw a come out on, you know, the AP, well, it was all over the internet. 5 Italian police officers took out 5 strike ones for IDPA match, and out of 73 contestants, those 5 officers won 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place. One last thing, you're gonna notice super long sight radius here. A lot of people don't like that, no big deal. 3 weeks from now, so the end of March, there's gonna be a conversion for this. If someone already owns this, you can send this in the IFC, International Firearms Corporation. They're gonna do a mod, put a regular butt plate on it, do a dovetail here, and set you up with new sights. That's one option, okay? The other option is this, the Speed Strike is coming out in spring, summertime. That one comes with fiber optic front sight, fully dovetail, fully adjustable, and a fully adjustable rear sight as well, so standard. One of the things Americans pushed back on was, we don't like this. It's definitely foreign, that's for sure. But you know, it is what it is. But it does give you a long sight radius, and there is not a lot of daylight. The tolerances between that front sight fitting into these rear sights is very minimal.
So it's worth comparing the Strike 1 to a couple of other full-size 9mm handguns. One that we've got handy is this one right here, the Glock 22, but this has a Lone Wolf conversion barrel on it to make it also 9mm. Here's a little comparison for size, and you can see the tops to the bottoms of the slides. You can tell that the Strike 1 is a bit longer, almost Glock 34 length. And if we look at the length of the grips on them, you can see the difference there. Also, the grip angle is probably worth looking at. You can see that this one is a little bit steeper than that one there is. The frame and slide width. What else? I don't know. Capacity on these are both 17 rounds, especially if it's, again, you're shooting the Glock 17 with the 17 round magazines. So very comparable as far as the sort of the purpose of each gun, right in the same neighborhood. You know, these fill the same role, definitely. Sights on them, again, that's kind of a negligible thing given that you can change out sights and make them what you want them to be. But I've done a lot of shooting with the Strike 1 today. Let's put a few rounds through this basically Glock 17 and see how it compares against the Strike 1, or see how I feel about the way this gun feels compared to that one. For kind of a simple and a quick comparison between the two guns, you got to be familiar with the Glock trigger for me to say it feels like a Glock trigger.
And that's an aftermarket trigger too.
This is an aftermarket trigger.
Yeah, it's got the ghost. It's got the ghost disconnected at 3.5 pounder.
Okay, so that's why it feels a little bit lighter than some other Glocks.
Yep.
It's still heavier than that.
It's a more apples to apples though with the modified spring on the other one too. The
That's
Arsenal.
true. Even so, I would say that the Arsenal is a lighter trigger.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Now I've become really accustomed to the, gotta take the magazine out, really accustomed to the trigger reset on the Glock. I know where it breaks, I know how far it travels, and I know how far it needs to come forward before that reset is ready to go. You can get that familiar and that accustomed to any gun.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. So if you decide to make the Strike 1 your pistol, you'll have just as much success with that trigger after some practice as you would with, say, a Glock. But I would say that discounting and kind of throwing out the fact that I'm a little more familiar with the Glock platform, I would say that they are, gosh, the Strike is a little more fun to shoot because of that low bore axis of it, and how you just don't feel a lot of recoil at all from that gun. In a way, it's more fun to shoot for that reason. The Glock, of course, is way more affordable, but not nearly as impressive to any of your friends, and not nearly as cool just in general. So there's a quick little comparison between the Strike 1 and the Glock 22. They are equivalent guns in a lot of ways, but I would say that the Strike 1 definitely has a few features over the Glock.
Fast target acquisition. You know, a lot of people say you want more daylight for that, like with a PPQ. I run that gun myself and carry that gun. Awesome. Tighter like this, more accuracy. But we find this easy to shoot, point shooting and instinctive shooting, just because the gun is so long. It is a long gun. It's almost identical size as a M&P Pro or Core 5-inch barrel, top to bottom in every which way. I have them both. Okay, so essentially, right now, as it is today, 2 different base models. You have the one that's all black, then you have the tan, the coyote in black, or the tan in black, and then you have the green in black. These are $8.99, okay? So you can find them online, maybe Gunbroker or something for $8.49. You pay for whatever, transfer fee, things like that. This one here is a $100 premium. This is the one you may have seen, or if you look up, there's a really pretty gray and stainless one.
Yeah.
That's the same one as this. These are $9.99, so a $100 premium when you get the entire stainless upper. These 2 guns we're running today happen to be, and we might have one more here, or actually one of our guys has one making a holster for it. These 2 guns here do have trigger jobs. They're both upgraded. Stock trigger, a little bit more gritty, 5.5 pound pull. These are 3.5 pound pull and super slick.
How much of that grit works out over time with just shooting the gun?
I'll tell you, yeah, I have number 214 that we have about 700-800, right around there, and it's way better than one right out of the box. So I'd say if you hit the 500, 700 round mark and you were thinking about getting a trigger job just because of the grit, not the weight pull, stick with your gun, just keep running it.
Or you could just dry fire that thing like a madman.
Yeah. Because I was literally at the range
dry
with it,
fire.
and I have shot Glock for so long. I was at the range with it, and at that trigger, when I was getting that reset on it, I literally thought that when I was pulling back on the trigger that I had to get back on it, though a round didn't go in, because I wasn't used to that trigger. So it's definitely something you got to train on and get yourself up to speed with. But it's worth it in regards to getting the speed out of it.
This is a full-size Strike 1. I probably told other people around the office I'd probably never carry it as concealed, but after Stealth Gear hooked us up with one of these fine holsters, I think we can run that no problem.
Stealth Gear.
Yeah, Stealth Gear USA, right here in, is it Lehigh? Where are these guys at? Yeah, great guys.
Yeah.
They make awesome stuff, and they whipped this together for us, and it just is gorgeous.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, that full-size gun went in there, and
It holds
it
it
just
pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, it just melted away.
It looks like it's nylon and Kydex, is that right?
Yeah, it's a
Nylon backing.
Should you hold that
Nylon
right
backing with Kydex.
I've carried these in the waistband. I've carried them in the waistband holsters for a very long time, and I've tried a lot of them.
There you go.
This one just,
Oh, dude,
it's like
that's
a pillow.
awesome.
It's like putting
How
a
cool
pillow
is
in your
that, huh?
bag.
That's
great
way cool.
looking.
Yep. That's actually, they make these for the Strike 1 as a Range 6 exclusive. You can't get this holster anywhere else through Stealth Gear USA or range6.com.
Nice.
And it'll be on our site within 72 hours. It's that new. We just picked it up 2
Right
days
on.
ago.
Do they have
But yeah.
pricing for it yet?
Say again?
Do they have pricing for it yet?
Oh, I like that back on it.
I believe
That's
we're
gonna
gonna.
be nice sweat.
I believe we're gonna do this one for $169.
Okay.
The upgrade for this and the upgrade for the material, if you look at any of their holsters, because this is a long gun and we thought we'd give it a try. More material. The upgrade is the Feel Dark Earth Green, and then we have a couple other things that are happening to it. This isn't the final version. Final version comes out next week, adds a little bit more value and other things like that, and cachet. Upgraded belt loops, and just their workmanship is just
Yeah, it's
awesome.
really nice.
Yeah, they're
This is my favorite IWB holster in the world, and I've tried them. I tried a lot of them, in
well
summers in Utah here, and this thing holds up.
There it is, guys, the Arsenal Firearms Strike 1. This gun has got a lot of interesting features, as you saw James describe earlier. If you're in the market for a new 9mm, you want something unusual, you want something to show off to your friends, you want something that nobody else has got.
But yet a very, very nicely functioning gun.
Oh, absolutely.
More than just a show-off piece. This is an actual...
The Strike 1 has got some features to it that are inarguably excellent,
Yes.
and you want to check this gun out. Range 6 in Utah, those are the retailers for this gun in Utah. So if you want to get a hold of one of these guns, contact Rain 6. You'll be able to get one on order, either in this configuration, in the standard black, and any number of other configurations. Everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all later.